angst, anger, frustration. I believe those are some of the words that Dan Bickley used in that look ahead there. Dan Bickley has also recently published his latest column, which, if you'll allow me to read the title of said column, it goes like this. Ken Kendrick must wonder if it's time to move on from Torey Lovullo. This has grown louder. This particular topic has grown louder in the recent days, in the recent weeks. I'm not just going to throw at you, do you think the Diamondbacks should fire Torey Lovullo? But we are at the point now where I think, Kevin, this needs to be a serious conversation that is had within the walls as to whether or not you move forward with this man as your manager.
Yeah, I mean, we can go back to what we started the show with about expectations, but I think maybe we all misread the roster situation. Maybe you can argue that a little bit, but obviously you don't spend this much money. You don't go and get the owner's blessing to sign Corbin Burns. I know it kind of went directly to him. So he was just like, yes, please, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But without having expectations. So I think it's hard to say maybe we just misjudged the roster or the talent, because I think the talent is what we all thought it was. Now, the crazy part about Torey is not only has he been around a lot, has become very well-liked, I think, generally by most fans who have an understanding that this is about relationships and a lot more than what he decides at the end of the game with the bullpen and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But his relationship with Mike Hazen, I can't even think of really any, probably there are some in sport where two people are that close. Like, they're like brothers, their families are so connected. We've seen all of that, and how close they are. And so that's why Bick's column, it's important that it is Ken Kendrick's call at the end of the day. And it's kind of made me wonder, like, he's going to have to make that call and say, Mike, like, we gotta get more out of this team. You're going to have to do something really painful for you, or I will, or something like that. And that's where it's super interesting in this, because the longer we go, the farther, again, they're 4 games back of third place in their division.
Yeah.
This is just not sustainable. So in the next few weeks, I think we're going to have a better sense of, is this just a bad blip, the worst blip of the season, or are they going to start finding traction with a couple things to get them back, and at least kind of chasing wild card spots and stuff. But yeah, I mean, the dynamics of the relationships in this are super fascinating, because again, it's like Brady, Belichick are one that's obvious, and it's not, coach and GM types, but this one is super interesting.
Mike Hazen, he brought in Torey Lovullo when he was hired by the Diamondbacks from the Boston Red Sox. The two of them come together from that organization. Torey's been the manager ever since. That's 2017 to now. That has come with a season where he was named manager of the year, where in the first year, he got the team to the wild card game. They played against the Dodgers in the opening round. They got swept. That was the end of that season. As far as other notable seasons from the Arizona Diamondbacks, that includes the World Series run, which was a couple years ago in 2023. But outside of that, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm trying to remember,
I have it pulled up. I can correct you.
No other postseason runs outside of 2017 and 2023.
Yeah, in that many years. I mean, we're getting close to a decade here, so you're correct.
What about I don't know if you have the overall record in front of you, but I'm just trying to think off the top of my head as far as winning seasons are concerned. Obviously 17, obviously 23, but that was only by a couple of games. That would leave not a ton of other opportunities for them to have had a winning record in a season where they only made the playoffs twice under Lovullo.
Yeah, so winning record, 93 games in 2017. Were 82 and 80 in 2018, 85 and 77 2019. So like 3 winning seasons, and then the COVID season was 10 games under 500 for 60 games.
Still a lost season. That was a mess.
And then it took a few seasons, 84, 89. The last 2 years were the other 2 winning seasons. So he's 50-50 on winning seasons about-ish.
So how much of this then, like the full conversation is, how much of this blame can be placed on Torey Lovullo, and does firing him actually help save this season? We've seen 3 managers get fired already this year, but for very different reasons. Number one, the Colorado Rockies fired Bud Black. They have 9 wins this year. I think that one's obvious. Not that Bud Black is entirely at fault, but they had to do something, and it feels like firing the manager was the way to go. The Pittsburgh Pirates, the team you just played, fired Derek Shelton a couple of weeks ago. they're their own mess right now, but Don Kelly seems to have them just fine against the Diamondbacks. And then the third one is the Baltimore Orioles, who are coming off back-to-back seasons where they made the playoffs and won 0 playoff games. He was a manager of the year 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, but this year has not gone according to plan. They are miserable right now. Their prospects seemingly are regressing, like the guys that they're counting on the most to lead this team. Does that entirely fall to him? I don't know, but they clearly made a decision in a direction that leads you to believe that the Orioles think they're better than they are without Brandon Hyde at the helm, excuse me. Now you have to ask yourself, if we all think that this talent is good, if we all think that the problems that are ailing the Diamondbacks can easily be solved by just replacing the manager, then by all means, go ahead and replace the manager. I don't know if that's the case. I'm sorry. Like, until we see reports come out, and Gamble made a very important point earlier, until we see the reports come out about like, oh, he's lost the locker room or he's lost the favor of the top player, and we've not seen any of that yet, I don't know why you would move on from him unless it's supposed to just light a fire under the ass of the rest of the team.
I would say that this week's concerning because the mistakes are of the type of team that you're losing their attention spans. You're losing hey, we got to play Diamondbacks baseball. You're not getting your culture across like you should or like he's tried to in the past. But like with Torey, I think the big thing is just looking at, again, like, why are these things happening? I think you'll play the Hazen clip maybe in a sec where, the players are not playing even close. Some of them are not playing even close to what we expect from them. You just, again, the bullpen with Ryan Thompson, J Mart has had weird things happening. Erod has not played close to that contract being worth it for, parts of 2 seasons now. So is that Torey's fault that guys are underperforming in their jobs? Some of them have very clear jobs. Starting pitcher, it's not you're tinkering with the bullpen and putting him in bad positions. He's a starter. He hasn't reached his potential there, or what we think it should be. So, it is really a judgment call of have you lost the locker room? Are you the reason that too many people are not performing up to their standards?
It's alarming, too, when he uses percentages on, like, we're playing 20% confused, I think was a standout bite a few weeks ago. I think 30% was a number that was put on last night's loss. Mike Hazen, who you referenced, was on Wolf and Luke earlier today. And I love the way that Luke phrased the question because he did it carefully in the sense that your manager's taking a lot of heat right now. Mm-hmm. Is it warranted? Was how Mike Hazen was asked that question. Here's how he answered it.
Every manager that has bullpens that kick games gets blamed 1,000% every night we lose. It's his fault. Like that's just the way this game goes. It's not the Diamondbacks. It's every team in baseball because everybody can look out of the bullpen and be like, well, if you just didn't put in that guy and you put in that guy, everything would have worked out different. Now, obviously, we all know that that's not the way life works, and it's no guarantee that would have been the case. But yes, everybody can turn around and look and do that. But it is what it is. It comes with the territory, and we have to evaluate the moves he's making and the decisions he make and they make in the dugout. It's not just him. He is ultimately responsible for it. But it is a group that is making decisions based on the information they have. We are aware of why they make those decisions. We're part of some of that calculus and giving them information that they have available to them. And you trust that they're making the right decisions, and I do believe he's doing that.
It should also be noted that Mike Hazen made it very clear that he should be the one taking blame for the current state of the team, and it's his problem to fix. He made that very clear in that interview as well. And if, to your point, if Ken Kendrick has to go into Mike's office and say, like, hey, either you're going to do it or I will, it's not going to be a fun ultimatum for Mike to handle, but an understandable one, quite frankly, if it means that this team's going to be better because of it. Yeah,
and going back to that clip, I think he has been calculated in the past about, when he does speak to media, he's calculated about, okay, it's player accountability, some of it now. And he did use that strongly. And yes, I'm going to say he might be biased because he and Torey are, again, that close. But that doesn't mean he's necessarily wrong. So we'll see. I mean, I guess my question to you would be like timeline. Like we need to see something more in the next few weeks very quickly, or conversation is going to be from it's starting to it's just hovering over us here in our jobs.
Well, so I had the schedule that I sent in our pre-show prep emails today. So they have the Nationals for 3. Then they have the Braves, the Reds on the road. Come home for the Mariners. That is 9 consecutive games without a break. Then they have the Padres for 3. They have the Blue Jays, Rockies, and White Sox on the road. That's 9 consecutive games without a break. The Marlins for 3, and then start a series with the Giants before the end of the month. Like, if this record goes from bad to worse by the time they come back home and face Seattle, is that the point? Like, is that the full tipping point? Is that when we're going to know for sure? I don't think it would make sense that they keep him around much longer if this team continues to go from bad to worse, given the amount of money that they've spent on it. So I guess that would be my timeline, is middle of next month before it gets way lost.
And you can't just wait, like, I'm sorry to bring up your Denver Nuggets and fire Michael Malone. Was it literally a week before the postseason?
You have to be in position to be in the postseason before you do that.
Like, you got to, if you're making that move at this point, it's going to be to spark that fire under them. And I don't know if you would have to sell me on one of the bench coach or someone is just going to be that guy to motivate and flip this switch, I guess.